Welcome to drillingcontractor.org. More than 100 technical papers are being presented here at the 2014 IADC SPE Drilling Conference. Steve Rosenberg, the Global Drilling Manager at Weatherford, also presented a paper about drilling with liner. Steve, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
So tell us about the concept of drilling with liner and what is the intended purpose?
Basically, with drilling with liner, it's tried to mitigate hazard zones in a single trip where wells could not be drilled conventionally. In other words, if you're drilling a depleted zone, you see surge and swab pressures, depletion. You may not be able to get out of the hole if you drill the well conventionally, but with liner drilling, you can drill conventionally to the top of the zone, pick up your liner drilling assembly, drill through the zone with minimal connections, and then cement it in place. Therefore, the problem zone is only seen one time.
What are the challenges to deploying drilling with liner operations?
Basically, you've got to do your homework. We like to collaborate early on with the operator. We want to align our engineering services with the operators to ensure their objectives are met. During the project, before we execute the well, we have weekly meetings to make sure everybody's on the same sheet of music. We do our engineering homework, for example, hydraulics modeling, torque and drag modeling. We do cyclic fatigue modeling with the help of the connection vendor to determine how many revolutions that liner's going to be good for once we drill it to TD. You don't want to exceed that. Typically, can in higher dogleg wells, you're limited to the fatigue life of the liner. You also want to make sure you have proper stabilization to ensure the wellbore's directional objectives are met. And also, you want to have the proper centralization to give them the design standoff so they can execute their planned cement job to meet their cementing objectives.
In your presentation, you talked about a recent application this past September in deepwater Gulf of Mexico. Tell us a little bit more about that operation.
Basically, we did a job for an operator in deepwater Mississippi Canyon, over 5,000 foot of water depth. The operator had a depleted sand, about 60-foot measured depth in length, little over 30-foot true vertical depth, located in a 38-degree angle. The pore pressure was about 6.5. It was depleted down from the original 11-pound pore pressure with a frac gradient of about 9.8. And conventional methods would most likely have failed. Calculated permeability and porosity were about 4.5 Darcy and over 30% respectively for the porosity. So you can see we're expecting very, very high fluid losses, even if we drill with liner. After consultation with the operator, we decided liner drilling was the best way to mitigate this hazard because we could isolate that depleted sand in a single trip with minimal connections. So what we did our upfront torque drag modeling to make sure nothing would come apart in the hole. We did our hydraulics modeling, and the hydraulics model actually showed no matter what pump rates, anything from 200 to 500 GPM, we were going to exceed the fracture gradient, the 9.8 fracture gradient, as we were using an 11.6 mud to keep the pressured shale stable. We designed with the operator ROP versus fluid loss curves to determine what ROPs or how slow an ROP based on fluid loss we could drill without running out of fluid. So at the end of the day, we drilled about a 306-foot section with the liner. We sustained total fluid losses. However, as we've seen in all of our liner drilling applications through depleted sands, we kept the backside full. The backside stayed full on connections. While we were drilling, we were pumping 300 gallons per minute through the riser booster line. And got the liner approximately 150 feet below the depleted sand, set it in a competent shale. The operator got a good cement job or an adequate cement job, didn't require a squeeze, and a satisfactory leak-off test.
Well, Steve, thanks so much for sharing more about your drilling with liner paper.
You're quite welcome, Joanne.
And thank you for joining us on drillingcontractor.org.